for joining us today. It's a gorgeous day out here. My name is Nicole. I'm the Executive Director and founder of the Good Life Refuge. And we're going to celebrate the living things today, kind of as our form of Thanksgiving celebration. And we're going to start with a tour of the sanctuary and finish up with a little feast for our two honored guests, Anchor and Tom, which are our two turkeys. So I'm gonna just give you a little overview about our beautiful views and start a little bit more talking, or talk a little bit more. And then we're gonna move out to the pasture, and I hope my internet connection will hold on, because everybody is out in the big area. So we're on 5 acres here in Boulder County, unincorporated. We were founded in 2018 in September, established fairly soon after that as a 501c3 nonprofit, and we are solely volunteer run and based and publicly funded. So currently we have 56 animals on site and 11 different species. And out of these, well, we have a 57th animal on the way, which will come in on Sunday, a rooster with an injured leg. And most of our animals are either owner surrender, come from neglect cases, or were strays. And yeah, so if you like us today, give us a like on Google or give us a like on Facebook. We always appreciate it, and share about us, because we need all the support we can get right now, specifically due to COVID. Usually this would be a celebration we would do all together in person, but we can't do that right now. So yeah, all the help is appreciated, and remember that any donation that is made today will get you into a raffle for in-person tour for one family, which is usually a max of 6 people and a value of about $100. So with that, I'm gonna brought you out to our goat gang and some alpacas. This is Amira, and I'm not sure if you read about Amira. So Amira and Buffy, this is her companion Buffy, came to us a little while ago. Amira had a 7-pound udder tumor, and we had her with CSU, and they took the tumor out. She had a mastectomy done. And both of these guys were slated to be shot because the owner didn't want to have them anymore. And she did not very much care about what happens with these two guys. But there was a woman that helped that lady because she also had Parkinson. And she was negotiating some more time. And with that, we were approached and we took them in because I knew that chances that they would go into different rescue were slim because of Amira's health condition. Because her surgery alone was about $900, and that did not include all the testing that we do for goats, to come in. We test them for several diseases before we can introduce them to the herd. And then we have Mr. Hellboy here. Hellboy was an owner surrender. The owner had 2 goats, but they were not in alignment with the city ordinance. They were, quite frankly, just too big. And with that, the woman was reported and then had to get rid of these guys within a couple of days. So Hellboy and his brother Seamus came to us because we had some space. And Seamus actually lying over there like the little prince he is, munching on hay, which we just got organized today because it was all over the ground. So we got it finally where it should be. So this is Seamus, and he is Hellboy's brother. He looks slightly different. He must have a different father. When you look at the ears, they're long, floppy, and Hellboy is in La Mancha Alpine, and he's a Nubian Alpine. And did you know that goats can actually swim? I did not know, but they do. And Amira, she's kind of cute and a little daredevil. When she has enough, then she's gonna give me her horns. But she has the most beautiful blue eyes that I've seen, and she's kind of a cute fatty. Um, so the others, they moved back in, which is typical when I'm out here, then they go the other way. So I'll introduce you to the rest there in a little bit. Then we have Frosty and Brownie. I'm gonna try to see how close I can get. Alpacas look like the cutest cuddle bears, but they're actually not. They're very aloof, not too keen about people. So this is Frosty, the white one. And then Brownie, I can get closer. He will just spit at me when he gets too much. These two came from a rescue that was running out of money. We got actually quite a few animals from that rescue when we started. And yeah, so we took them in, and then we have the cows. This is Teddy. Hi, Teddy. Teddy's a little afraid still of people. And then we have Rosie. We had a little fire going earlier, so the cows, I don't know why, but they do love hanging out at the fire pit. So Rosie is not quite as scared. Hey, Rosie. Rose Bear. Seems like I'm gonna ignore you. There's Teddy. So these two, they came from a hoarding case in Indiana. 22 animals were seized and only 8 made it through the quarantine, which Rosalina and Teddy were 2 of them. And then there were also 2 sheep that after 4 animals out of the 8 found placement in local sanctuaries, but the cows and the sheep didn't. So we stepped up and they came here. Both of them had pneumonia and external and internal parasites, and Teddy had an old injury on his leg. So we got them up to CSU, and they grew about, well, they're almost 3 times the size than they were when they came here. And they're pretty healthy and strong. And she can be a little naughty, Mrs. Rosie, but still quite nice. Yeah, so this is where these 2 came from. And I'm kind of debating if I'm going to take the gate or climb over the gate. So then we have Forrest here. He came to us last year in January as just 8 weeks old. I can't get my facts right today. He came with his mom and his brother. There's Mama. This is Peanut. Hi, Peanut. Peanut is not too keen about people. And there's the other brother. They came from a hobby farm and were like oopsies. Mama was pregnant, and then were advertised for free, which would have been potentially okay for Peanut, but for the boys, usually that means that they end up as food. And so we stepped up and took the family in. And as you can see, they grow big and healthy. This is Kevin. Kevin doesn't like people at all. He's very afraid of people. Trying to see where my Obi is. There's Buffy again. Buffy. There you go. Yeah, you're the cutest bee. She's so cute. Oh yeah, there they are. Hey Obi. There's Obi and Chapito. Chapito is one of our youngsters. Hi Chapito. Hi Obi. And Obi, he is my special needs goat. He is about 8 years old. So he's also my oldest goat. And if you can see, he's shifting his weight. He's highly arthritic. We have him on a ton of medication and CBD oil, and he gets acupuncture and laser treatment on a regular basis. so that we can help him control his pain. The winter is usually tough on him, so we added some heaters and hoping that this winter will not be as bad as last one. This is Mr. Pickles. He's one of my potbellies. Mr. Pickles is about 4 years old. He was one of our first pigs that we got, right, Pickles? He was an owner surrender because the people that had him were living in rental and then had to leave and couldn't find the right housing that allowed pigs. So, you know, potbelly pigs or mini pigs, there's no such thing than a mini pig. As you can see, he's not a small pig. He's actually about 220 pounds, and potbellies can be anywhere between whatever 60 pounds and 400, and they're still considered minis. And you know, breeders often kind of advertise them as small and tiny, but in reality, these babies are just underfed, or most of them. There are some smaller dudes for sure than this one here, but we don't know how big a potbelly gets until it's fully grown. And that's often a problem because also the city ordinances have often a weight limit, which is about 100 pounds. And they have the number limit where they say you can only have one pig, which is not quite okay because pigs live in social groups and they actually need a companion. And when it's not another pig, then it's usually us as humans. And these guys are super smart, very emotional. And when they attach to a human, then that's their companion for life. And they suffer tremendously when that companionship is taken away. So did you know that pigs, they are so smart that when they kind of bury something, they will know where it is. And they also have a really good sense of orientation. So they find their way home. So I'm digging through here as you probably are like, what is she doing? So this is Jason. Hi, JJ. Hi, are you snoozing? So Jason is my oldest pig. He's about 8 years too, my oldest potbelly. Jason is about 170 pounds. He is another of my special needs animals. He's highly athletic as well and on a ton of medication to control his pain. And he also gets acupuncture and laser treatment on a regular basis, as much as we can do with COVID right now. He likes to snooze. He's my old grumpy dude. Jason was an owner surrender as well, and he was one of the pigs that I've seen that suffered so much by being abandoned, you know, feeling abandoned by his owner. It took us quite a while to warm up with each other, and I'm sorry, I hope I'm not going to make you dizzy by the way I'm holding the camera. But he's one of my favorites. He's super gentle. He's one of the pigs you can hand feed. He's just a really good boy. So I'm just gonna let him snooze. So, you know, as you can see, we have tons of blankets here for him to stay warm, and tons of straw to keep them all warm. And then he has his little heater. So I'm gonna go the other way. Usually we have a little round way, but because the goats were everywhere, we had to change that. So I'm gonna take you over the fence. So don't mind me. And we're here with the big guys. Hi, Toonie Bear. Not sure. Should we start with you? So it is Petunia. Hi, Toonie. Petunia is my smallest or youngest farm pig. She is supposed to be a Hampshire or a Hampshire mix. They say she's probably will be around 450 pounds at some point. And so Petunia was found in Colorado Springs close to State Fair by animal control. She had, you can see it here, she had severe bite wounds and a septic joint, shoulder joint, and sunburned. They wanted to euthanize her, but the vet that initially took her in or evaluated her got her and kind of started treatment with her. And in January of this year, she came to us and we got her evaluated by CSU. Hi, Tony. And we did shoulder surgery and a bone graft in the hopes that that her joint will recover so much that it will be actually able to hold her weight when she's fully grown, as well as to get her in a pain-free state, because she was still having like infection in the shoulder joint. So far, so good. We'll have to wait and see. We got her rechecked and the recheck was not conclusive. So now we just hope that this leg will hold her, because you cannot amputate a front leg in an animal that's this big or will be that big. And I show you how big she will get. I'm waiting for her. She's my snuggle buck. There you go. I'm like, when is she going down for her belly rub? So Petunia loves her belly rub. You can see here. And again, I hope I'm not gonna make you too dizzy, but she's just like a big puppy. Look at her, can you see that? She's almost grinning. Hi, Toonie. I love pig snouts, they're the best. And here, look, she loves her belly rub. She's just a big lover. A little rascal when it's not going her way, just like a toddler, but totally digging it. And this is the perfect weather for them. It's not too hot, not too cold. And then we have Mr. Leo here. He's a full-grown Hampshire. He's also one of my big puppies. Hey, Leo. There you go. Look at him. Going down. I know, mister. You're a good boy. So Leo is an owner surrender. He came from a family that did 4-H, I think, or show pigs. And because he's so good, they didn't want him to go the regular route, which is like, you know, the pigs are shown, they get their prices, and then they get sold off to slaughter. They didn't want that for him. So they reached out to the sanctuaries to see if any had space. We tagged him with Hoke Haven to get him in. And yeah, he's about 4 years old, 450 pounds. I always think his body is almost like a silverback gorilla, because he's pure muscle and like all squares. But yeah, as you can see, he's a big lover. He's a big lover. Where's my boy? And so if anybody has questions, you can unmute now. I think this is a good spot. Here's our, oh yeah, this is our oldest piggy. This is Sophia. She's about 8 or 9. She's a large black versus Leo is a Hampshire. She's said to be about 750 pounds. She's another one of my special needs animals. She's about, she has spinal cord issues, and so we have her on several medication to keep her pain free. She's my old sensitive soul, because she is not a people pig like the other two, but she loves her companions. She was very bonded with her owner. Um, she was an owner surrender because the owner went into foreclosure, and with that, her home was gone. And being a big pig is not um, you can't find really good homes for big pigs, so she was bound to end up as food. And as you can see, Miss Petunia is a little stinker. So she's agitating Sophia because she knows Sophia does not like being disrupted when she's snoozing. She doesn't like because she's not. Yeah, I know. Um, she's not a people pig, and she's also not a pig that enjoys other pigs. Just because she didn't have siblings, which is usually these pigs grow up in groups, but then you have the single pigs and they're not really socialized, so Sophia is a little bit afraid of the others, um, and unsure, and then they come and tease her and she does not like that at all, and then it gets loud and noisy, and that's usually, when there are two pigs in a scuffle, I back off because I don't want to be in the middle of it. But it's usually just like dogs. So, like, hey, back off, leave me alone. So, do you guys have any questions? I see
Nicole,
we
this
have a
is
ton.
Michael.
Yeah.
I just was curious how Petunia is doing with her leg now that she's, getting bigger and bigger.
So, when we did the recheck, they couldn't tell me. We had like the surgeon was like, she's doing well and it's going the way it is. And the radiologist was like, no, they're still septic. So I don't really know, but just from looking at her and her presentation, she will always limp because one goal was to stiffen the joint so it can hold actually her weight. So but she doesn't seem to be in pain. So I think we're just hopping along how we should be. And she's doing well.
Good to hear.
Do
Hey,
we have
Nicole,
any?
it's
Yeah.
Savannah.
Hey.
Is Sophia the same, or is Petunia the same pig as Sophia? So will she get as big?
So I don't think so. They said she's a Hampshire, which is the same as Leo. So she's supposed to be about 450 pounds when she's fully grown.
Okay. Thanks.
You're welcome. Do we have any other question?
Hey, Nicole, this is Amy. I came to you from the SVCMS community. I'm curious to know what your situation with volunteers is right now. I know COVID probably has you on all kinds of restrictions, but are you taking new volunteers? Do you have a full schedule of people out there to help you?
So right now, we're kind of in a stop taking new volunteers. We did take new volunteers overall the summer, but with the numbers rising, we decided we're gonna hold on new volunteers at this time
Yeah,
until the numbers are in better shape. And we actually will be reducing our current volunteers to the bare minimum in a little while. Having said that, I'm really hoping once the vaccine is, available, that we can gear up fully, because even with my current volunteers, we're not at the full-blown schedule, meaning I don't have all the shifts filled up that can be filled up. Um, so and we can talk about that offline too, Amy. You wanna shoot me just a quick reminder. Um, we can discuss a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I
We have
appreciate it. I'd love to stay in touch.
Yeah, totally. Do we have any other questions before I'm gonna move into our bird area? All right. If you have questions, you can just unmute. We're a small group, so we don't have to do a lot of, facilitating. Um, I wanted to see if I can get in here. Now I don't wear my thick pants because Bojangles can be a little challenge, but let's see. Because I wanted to show you my favorite chicken. Um, so we're in one of our chicken areas here. The rooster you see picking here is Bojangles. He was found, well, actually, he kind of saved himself. Um, he he hiked home with people that were hiking on a dirt road. So he was just literally abandoned there and left to fend for himself. Um, but he's really good in saving himself. We had a windstorm here picking up and it blew everything over and he just went into the garage. It was kind of funny. This one is Socks, and they're companions. So some of them were owner surrenders because they're spent, which means they don't lay as many eggs as they used to. Normally chickens lay about an egg a day, which is very different to what a bird would do in nature. In nature, I think they lay about 12 to 15 eggs a year. Um, and with the egg laying, there's comes a ton of health issues for these guys, meaning often they're depleted of calcium and their body is just gonna be worn down. And the second one is reproductive issues where they start laying funky eggs, and then often the egg kind of stays within their belly and they get like it's called peritonitis in their abdomen, which usually does not go well for these guys. And it's kind of a death sentence. So chicken are actually, they all have their personalities. They are super curious and they can pick up on people and they can pick up on our cues as well. They can read us and can read emotions. So we have another one stuck in here. And then I wanted to go over here because there is my favorite girl. So this is Tough. We have them separated because Tough and Hey Hey, they're not able to compete in the flock. So Hey Hey, she was an owner surrender. She survived, was the sole survivor of a predator attack and then introduced into a new flock. And it looks like moms are caring for the kids chickens, and when the daughter moved away, she got rid of her chickens, but mom wanted Hey Hey in a sanctuary, so she's not gonna be ending up in a cooking pot because she has slight disabilities. So this is my favorite one. This is, I'm gonna switch you over for a minute. This is Tough. Tough is famous. She was on the news. Um, but Tough is she's a favorite because birds are usually not. They don't like being handled a lot. But Tough is very patient and lets me pet her and kind of seems to be enjoying it. And there are just, some of the birds, we had some when they were babies, they were really cuddly and really nice. Some get really spooked. And Tough, she's kind of in the middle. She lets me do it until she's like, okay, I'm done, lady. So far, so good. We'll see if I can sneak out without Jingles doing his job and protecting his flock. I'm not getting too close. This is Rudy Rooster. He's very spooked of people. He was dropped off and just abandoned at a random property that had some acreage, and left to fend for himself. And after a few months, we finally were able to get him here, which this is very common for roosters, that they're just going to be abandoned because when we have chick season, usually there's a 50% chance to get a rooster as well. And people don't really realize that. And then they have a rooster in a neighborhood, residential neighborhood, which is not allowed, or, you know, they have a rooster, but they don't want to have a rooster because roosters tend to be protective. And the young roosters, they're kind of a little bit wild while they learn how to do that. My coop is falling apart here, so I'm trying to get that piece in. So these guys don't like when I'm in here. This is Valentine and his girls. Valentine came from a cockfighting bust in Oregon. There were about 200 birds, mostly roosters, that needed placement. And the X-fighters are a little bit tricky in regards that you cannot have them with any other bird that is male because they will fight to death. So that's why we're having the sight, the view protection, because he got a few times in a scuffle through the fence, through the chain link, and almost killed himself. So we had to be a little bit more cautious with him. Otherwise, he's one of my best roosters that I have. He's so gentle with his girls. He does his job in protecting them very well. He's not aggressive towards humans. So you see, I could walk in here and I have not, you know, one moment I had the feeling he was going for me. Bojangles, he might turn on me if he feels like it. But Valentine, he's a really good rooster. And these guys have such a bad reputation that they're terrible, but I cannot attest to that. My roosters, he is one of my best roosters. So these guys here, these are my Cornishes, and if you see the difference in size, so they're about 2 to 3 times as big as a regular chicken. So these guys are the chicken that you would buy at the store or, you know, at the meat place. They usually are slaughtered around 8 weeks of age or 42 days, excuse me, of age. And we got them in actually New Year's Day of 2019. There was a farm in LaSalle that went bankrupt, and there were about 15,000 birds that were starving, and heat was running out. So we provided about 1,200 pounds of food to buy us a little bit more time. We got 100 something birds out and kept 20 of these guys. Their lifespan is pretty short. It's estimated between 6 months and 12 months. However, these guys will be 2 years in December 4th. So they're way over their lifespan. But out of the 20, we have only 6 of the roosters left. And most of our girls are, unfortunately, have passed on because on top of being a big breed, as you can see, they all have bandages because they have bumblefoot, and usually their organs kind of give up at some point because they're so big, so the heart has to work extra time. The girls had the reproductive issues of laying eggs. Many hens, they get ovarian cancer at some point from the egg laying activities. So yeah, here are my other 2 boys, and then I have 2 boys that I could not integrate, so they're separated over here. That's their day pen. And then we have our turkeys. This is Tom, and then there's Ankara. And what I'm gonna do is, yeah, Ankara, I know you're waiting for food. I'm gonna take you to the duck area. Finish up with the ducks because they're our last flock, and then we're gonna come back to the turkeys with our little Thanksgiving feast. It's kind of ridiculous to see them running for food. I dressed up Anchor a little, but he took it off, so they can do that very much. And turkeys are super cool. They can fly, I think the wild ones up to 60 miles per hour. And they can run very, very well too. So look at that progress with our door here. So that's some of my volunteers and my husband. So here are our doggies. Oh yeah, this is Mr. Speckles. He came from the same rescue as the alpacas. He was the sole survivor of an animal attack too, and he's very protective of his flock. So then the white and brown one is Patches, and we have Chocolate, the brown one, and the white one is Marshmallow. And Patches and Marshmallow and two of the girls were abandoned at a pond. And unfortunately, they can't really fly. And when they abandon, if you abandon them in water, it means that at some point they won't make it because they're not able to fly away if there's a predator, and they're also not used to provide for themselves. And specifically when the water starts freezing, that's when they're at total risk. We had to separate the boys and the girls because the boys are ferocious mater, and we had tons of injuries because of that in the first year. So we decided that we need to protect the girls a little bit more and don't have them exposed to the males. They can still go through the fence, which is important because these guys love each other, and some of them were bonded. And here are our girls. This is Bold, the blackish one. She's an Indian runner. And then we have the Chinese goose is Lucy, and the white pekin is Daisy. And then we have Penny, and the caramel colored one is Caramel. So if you see, Daisy is limping, and she's limping because the boys broke her leg when they tried to mate her. And while it was a non-bearing bone, it kind of left some tissue damage, and she's gotten some laser therapy. And we've done pain meds and acupuncture with her too. But we just could not get that leg back to normal function. Ducks are the funniest thing. You can see her doing her when she talks. They also very dirty. We refilled all the waters this morning, and look how mucky they are, because what ducks do, they like to peck in the mud when there's water to see if there are any bugs. And when they do food, they eat food, and then they go to the water. Then they eat food, they go to the water. So it's kind of really, really fun with these guys. Yeah, do you guys have any questions? Just gonna look at the chat. All right, if you guys don't have any questions, you see the boys just waiting for an opportunity to sneak over here. So Lucy Goose is actually, she's almost, gosh, 9 years old. So these guys can get fairly old, but she's still thriving quite a bit. And for most of the other birds, we don't know how old they are. But chickens, they can get up to 6 to 8 years. I've heard about some that are 10. This is our feeding area and kitchen area. So I'm just gonna grab my little plate of, we have spaghetti squash that we cooked, some Brussels sprouts, tomatoes, sweet potatoes, cucumbers, blueberries. And I think that's it. Now let's see. I haven't noticed yet that I'm coming with food. So, tell you a little story about Ankara, which is very fitting to our Thanksgiving or Living Things celebration, because we got Ankara about a year ago, exactly in November, and he was running loose in a residential neighborhood in Bursard. Now, Um, see him running. He saw the food. Now we knew, we saw a post on Facebook, and it was kind of really sad for me that instead of helping, most people just thought about making him Thanksgiving dinner. And so this is why we're going to celebrate today, Ankara and Tom. Tom was an owner surrender. He's about 7.5 years old. Well, he is still young, and we don't know because we found him, but he should be about 1.5 years now. But that was kind of why, I think we want to, or why we thought we want to celebrate living thanks today and giving these guys a feast versus having them as a feast. Because what I learned with these guys is Ankara is the funniest character. He's so driven for food. He has so many emotions, and he's just funky and spunky. He's one of the birds here that um, fairly like to be petted. Um, Tom doesn't, but he loves it, despite we think he came from a commercial setting and must have fallen off a truck or just got out of wherever he was kept. Um, but he likes humans, and he loves like life, and you can just tell the way he is. He enjoys it. So with that, I'm gonna give these guys their little feast, and let them eat their living things celebration food, and I hope he's gonna share it with Tom, because he can be a little dick about that. um Come on, Anchor, let Tom have some food. Anky, you gotta share. I might have to get another bowl, um, so they can both have some food. I thought the big bladder would be okay. No, you gotta share, my friend. You gotta share a little. He's such a food hog. As you can see, they love their food. Tom is a little bit more picky, but Ankara is just dwarfing it all down, and he's always hungry. That's kind of part of the breed. He's um, a white broad-chested turkey versus Tom is a heritage white. Um, it's kind of, you can't see that very well, but the spaghetti squash is flying. So Ankara would be the turkey that's used for meat, and they're usually he has to steal it. Um, as you can see, they have tons of personality. You just cannot let him just have it. Just has to get in everything, and these guys are like, hey, where's mine? So they have tons of personality, and for example, if you can see, Tom is blue around his eyes. Let me see if I can get you close on. Which turkeys change the coloring of their eyes or their skin, depending on the mood. Blue is supposed to mean relaxed, red is excited, and white is kind of neutral. I'm not sure, Tom. Here, come on, Tom. And Tom's like, I don't know about this, but he's like my daughter. He's a picky eater, I guess. And Carl, not so much. He loves this one. So yeah, he's munching away for sure. So do you guys have any questions for me?
Hi, Nicole. This is Melissa.
Hey.
I'm curious about your story.
Okay.
Yeah. What prompted you to open the refuge? And well, there's two parts. So your story, and then second, I'd like you to tell us what your greatest need is currently so that we can get the word out for you.
Okay. So my story is fairly simple. I always loved animals. When I was younger, I always joked around, I'm gonna start a sanctuary when I'm grown up. Took me quite a while. I've been in dog rescue for over a decade, pretty much for 15 years. And that's, where kind of my heart was lying for a long time, was like rescuing dogs. I fostered about 30 dogs over my rescue time, and volunteered. And at some point, I was like, okay, I'm going to do my own rescue, right? Um, then, about 5 years ago, I was exposed to a farm animal sanctuary and founded that one with two other people. And that kind of got me hooked up. It didn't work out in the constellation that we had there, so I moved out of that sanctuary. But at that time, it was set that I would like to start a farm animal sanctuary. I am in on my way to, get my vet tech degree. I'm very slow, but the medical side of things always has been very interesting for me. So I'm working on that, and I used to work in corporate as a marketing manager, so I do have a marketing degree. Um, and that's kind of my story. But I really, I always was like the crazy lady who was picking up the pigeons of the streets. When I went on vacation, I always had dog food or cat food with me. I brought once a cat home from Turkey. Um, that was injured. So animals have been always very important to me. They're just, yeah, I don't know. I need them in my life, and there's a big need for farm animals in general, and there are not enough rescues out to even, partially cover the need of animals that need to be taken in. Um, our biggest need, honestly, right now, are monetary donations. Just because usually we have once a month events where we get the public here, and there are our fundraisers, and with that we're gonna um, make sure that we get the funds in to run the sanctuary, and that's gone. um, and so with our virtual events we've been partially successful, but we need, due to COVID, we need money coming in more regular than before because we don't have the events. But our costs, they're here. We feed the animals despite not having events, and we have straw and hay and vet runs. So it is really, emphasizing um, that donations, and every little bit helps. Another way you guys can help without spending direct money is, if you order from Amazon for Christmas, do it through Amazon Smile, and put us in as a charity of choice, because we get a percentage from every purchase you do through Amazon Smile. And we just started the King Supers community rewards, which is every time. So when you go on your account, you go to community rewards and enroll us as your charity. And every time you use your King Supers loyalty card or City Market card, we'll get a percentage from that. And that's money that's easy raise without you spending extra money, because I know money is tight for many of us. We also have wish lists. We've got, honestly, the Amazon wish list went great. We got tons of stuff from there. I also have a wish list for the local stores, because I can't shipping, feed through Amazon doesn't make sense. So there's always, the need for feed and stuff that you could find on that wish list, and that's all on our website. And then hopefully when COVID is over at some point, we'll need volunteers back here. And there's also for volunteering, while we're trying to reduce the volunteering on site, I do have needs for volunteers to help out with more like offsite stuff, where we can use help, like, you know, back office things, or doing research for us in regards of grant writing and things like that. Do we have any other questions? No other questions? So I have a question for you. How do you like the turkeys? Anyone wants to answer?
They're really cute, and I feel like their dinner looks better than my dinner some nights.
I've heard it a lot for the other animals as well. And I can agree. I feel like their food is sometimes healthier what I can prepare for my family. Um, that's for sure. Yeah, we do try to keep the nutrition balanced, and you know, all the animals usually get um, fresh produce if I have it. On a daily basis. The chickens, they like their cucumbers, tomatoes, salad, grapes. What else do we feed to the chickens? I cut up broccoli and cauliflower, so they love it. The ducks, they love their salad, and peas and corn. Sometimes we put it in the water so that they can go for it. The cow's favorite, absolute favorite, is pumpkin. They go crazy over the pumpkin. And then, you coming back with me, Chipito? The goats love apples and carrots. Come on, Chipito, come on. And salad, celery too. I apologize, I have to talk you guys over for a minute. And I love the pumpkins too. The piggies, they eat a lot. He loves his pumpkins, apples. He loves everything. He doesn't like broccoli and cauliflower, but everything else he's like telling me to touch him. And this is Pickle's way of saying, hey, please give me some snuggles. I know. He's a good boy. Yes, I know. Yeah. The alpacas, funny wise, they don't eat any produce. I don't know why, but they like their grain. So most animals here have hay as main food. And then, you know, the produce is kind of like a snack treat type thing. So yeah, but the alpacas, they haven't touched one single produce that I provided to them. And I'm back here with the goats and the cows. Everybody's kind of chilling out. And then around 4 o'clock, we're gonna start our evening round where we will be tucking, well, feeding everybody gets their evening snack. And then we're tucking all the animals in that are going in at night, which is mostly the goats and the big pigs, not the big pigs, the small pigs, and the small goats. The big goats stay out, and the cows and the alpaca, they have a stall to go in if they want to. But them and the birds are all tucked away, so they're safe. And yeah, that's kind of, yeah, you can get the best pictures with goats, that's for sure. And that's kind of us. I really hope you guys enjoyed our little tour, our little turkey feast. And I hope to see you guys here when it's safe. If you can spread the word about us, share, share, share. Always appreciate it. We're still new. with 2 years on our belt and not very well known. But yeah, and if you have any other questions, we have a few more minutes left, and I'm more than happy to answer any other questions.
Hey, Nicole, this is Michael. The two newer goats, Chipito and what's the other one's name?
Do you mean Chipito? Well, the newest ones are Buffy and Amira.
Oh, okay.
So this
Okay.
yeah. This is
How are they integrating with the larger goats?
fairly well. There was a lot of headbutting for the first couple days. But they are standing their ground. They sometimes isolate themselves a little bit, so they're not always with everybody. But so far, they've been good. You know, it's kind of they have to find out their hierarchy. So when we let them out the first time a few weeks ago, there was a lot of headbutting with everybody. But I don't see that anymore. And the big boys leave them for most part alone. Buffy was in heat last week, so they were onto her quite a bit. But this week has been good.
Okay, that's good to hear.
So yeah, no, they've been doing well. I'm just so the next step is to integrate Buffy and Amira with Obi and Chipito to see if they can be housed in the same stall at night. But we're not quite there yet. I'm a little bit worried because they have these big horns, and Amira does use them when she gets annoyed. So, and because Obi is our special needs goat, I'm a little hesitant, but that will be the next step. So we have everybody tucked away in a stall. But as you can see, she's, you know, they're pretty chill here. They're really nice goats, and they're doing good. And I have a goat here chewing in my ear. Yeah, you are kind of ridiculous, aren't you?
Nicole, did you get different internet because the video's more clear than in the past?
Yeah, I'm not really a different internet, but I think it's like, you know, when I'm further out in the pasture, it's just not as good. And I don't know what the T-Mobile, how they distribute it, but I'm still on T-Mobile. I could go back to wireless right now because I think I can get it out here, but I haven't changed that. Do we have any other questions? Well, if you don't have any other questions, I wish everybody a happy holiday, happy Thanksgiving. Check out our website and our new blog if you're looking for food alternatives that are not involving a turkey. I put a ton of resources out there. What you could make instead or eat instead if you're interested, or in general, just for the holidays, different ideas. And yeah, spread the word, think about us. I hope to see everybody here when we're able to have people here. And with that, enjoy the rest of this beautiful Saturday. Thank you everybody for joining. Thank you everybody for donating. We will have the drawing on Monday. And we'll announce when this will happen. But yeah, you guys take good care, stay healthy, happy holidays, happy Thanksgiving. And I really enjoyed having you here and your questions. And with that, I'll see